Hello, I'm Pastor Ed Rocha. I'm here with my dear friend, Captain Jason Henry. Mainly what I wanted to say is, and explain to you the main reason why my family and I are trying to raise this $10,000. I came here to the United States with a big dream back in the 80s, actually in 1984, when I was a teenager of 16 years of age. But unfortunately, for different reasons, those dreams were shattered. In 1986, I made a big mistake. Since 1984 to 1986, I took a very wrong path and took very wrong decisions. I became a drug addict, and later on I started selling drugs. This was back in the state of New York, and those actions led me to be arrested with drug possession, and I served a prison term of 3 years in the state of New York for that. Back then I became undocumented, an illegal alien here in this country, and because of that, and because of having committed a felony, I was deported back to the country where I was born, which is in Uruguay, in South America. For more than 20 years, I dreamt with the possibility of coming back to the United States to pay a debt. Since I left this country back in 1989, when I was deported, I felt in my heart that I owe a big and great debt of gratitude towards the people of this country, a debt, a social debt, and a spiritual debt also, because in prison I found Jesus Christ. How I did this? Well, through the lives of volunteers that brought the love of God to prison. And when I was at the very low point of my life, and I even tried to commit suicide in the Orange County jail in Goshen, New York, that's when someone came and brought the love of God and the hope that Jesus Christ can give to a person. So I became a born-again Christian. I received a calling in my life, and when I went back to Uruguay, I pursued this. I became a minister, and that's what I've been doing the last a little bit more than 25 years. But I still had in my heart that depth of gratitude and that desire to return to the United States. Well, for more than 20 years, I was not allowed to do this because of having committed a felony, for having lived illegally here in this country, and for having been deported. Back in 2009, through a miracle that God did, I obtained a pardon through the State Department that gave me a waiver, and that allowed me to obtain a legal visitor visa to return to the United States. And that's when I came back, and through different miracles that God did, in 2012, I was allowed to return as a minister with a legal religious work visa, and I've been serving the community here in the city of Mount Juliet and Wilson County and Davidson County area here in Nashville, Tennessee, for the last 3 years. I'm an associate pastor in Mount Juliet and also the Hispanic lead pastor of the Hispanic ministry of this church. I serve as a volunteer chaplain with the Davidson County Sheriff's Office, and every week I go to Hill Detention Center to preach the love of God and do for others what others did for me back in 1986, to those who have made wrong choices and are in jail. Also, I serve as a volunteer chaplain with the Tennessee Department of Corrections, and once a month I go to Norwest Correctional Complex in Tiptonville, Tennessee, also to share the love of God there with the inmates. I serve my community as a civilian volunteer with the Mount Juliet Police Department, and I've been involved with the Wilson County Sheriff's Office as well, with their Citizens Sheriff's School. So all that I'm doing is just to obtain this opportunity to do this on a permanent basis. As of right now, I have a deadline which ends in 2017 to stay in this country, and if I don't obtain my legal permanent residency, I won't be able to stay here, and I will have to go back to the country where I was born, which is Uruguay. With your support, with whatever you can give, I will be allowed to pay the immigration lawyer fees, which there is an immigration lawyer that is willing to help me with my case, because it is very difficult because I have a criminal record. And also I will be paying the fees of immigration for my wife, two of my kids, and myself. So thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for helping me to fulfill a dream that I had back in the 80s when I was just a teenager. A dream that God has already allowed me to fulfill in part for the last 3 years that I've been serving my community, that I've been serving the American people. I really want to do that with all my heart. I consider that I have not paid my debt yet to this country and to the people of this country. So with your support, I will be allowed to do that. So thank you very much, and may God bless you richly.